What's going on, guys? Rick here. Hope you're having an amazing day wherever you might find yourself in the world. Today, I am in Michoacan, Mexico, and I'm very excited to bring you guys a very special episode of Mythman, a series on my channel where we explore myths and mysteries from around the world. In today's video, we will be traveling to the Mexican state of Guanajuato, where we will be visiting the tomb of none other than La Llorona, the lady that drowned her children. La Llorona is one of the most famous stories, if not the most famous story, to come out of the country of Mexico, with different variations of it throughout the country. But one thing is certain, they all hear what seems to be desperate screams from a lady. Now before we go, I think it's time we tell the story of La Llorona and how this Mexican folklore grew to be the biggest legend of all of Mexico. It is said that well over 100 years ago, around the 17th century, lived an indigenous Mexican lady that fell in love with a Spaniard man. Now, this lady was one of the most beautiful ladies in all the region. So quickly, the man fell in love with her as well, and soon after, he asked her to marry her. After the wedding, the lady stayed at her house alone nearly all the time, as her husband was a diplomat, and he often needed to attend diplomatic meetings on his own time. And he would leave the house for weeks and often months at a time. Over the course of 10 years, they ended up having 3 children together, and things seemed normal for a good amount of time. It wasn't until the lady started to hear rumors that her husband was cheating on her with another woman. The man soon returned to the village, and the lady confronted him about these alleged accusations, to which he confirmed were true. He told her he had no more love for her, as he was marrying a Spanish lady from the upper class. Shortly after, the man left town permanently, and the lady grew with rage over time. Filled with a bitter heart and a need for vengeance, the lady decided to take the most valuable possession that the man had, which was their children. She took the children down to the local river, where she viciously drowned each and every one of them till their tiny bodies stopped moving. It only took her a couple seconds to gain her senses from the bloodlust that she previously had, and was instantly filled with regret, and immediately started letting out blood-curdling screams. And she also is reported to have said the famous words that everybody knows, "Ay, mis hijos! Ay, mis hijos!" And those words are said to be heard from villages everywhere. Not knowing how she was going to live with herself, she decided to kill herself by the same method that she killed her children, by drowning. On her way up to heaven, God told her, "You will never be allowed to pass these gates," and her soul was banished to an eternity of wandering the earth looking for the children that she will never find. As a result, people from all parts of Mexico have claimed to hear the desperate cries of La Llorona, and her soul is said to still be wandering to this day, snatching up children from all parts of the country. All right, so now that you guys are filled in on the story of La Llorona, tomorrow is the big day. We are visiting her tomb in Guanajuato. I'm extremely nervous, but we'll see what happens. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.
After a long drive from Michoacan to Guanajuato, we finally arrived at La Hacienda de los Siete Reales, home to La Llorona. Nestled deep within the cactus fields lies her tomb.
All right, guys, well, we finally arrived here in La Hacienda de los Siete Reales, located here in Guanajuato. Right now, we're actually standing in front of the church that is in this small little pueblito. And it is said that this church was ordered to be constructed around the same time that the monument of La Tumba de La Llorona, located over there somewhere in the middle of El Campo over there. But right here, as you guys can see, there's a cross right there that seems to be written in Latin. I can't really read what it is, but this church has been here for well over 100 years, guys, and it has definite interesting energy here. I think it's time that we dive straight into the belly of the beast. We are going into La Tumba de La Llorona. All right, guys, well, we finally arrived here at La Tumba de la Llorona. As you guys can see, it's right behind me. This is quite possibly one of the most paranormal locations in all of Mexico, if not the most paranormal location in all of Mexico, and it might also be one of the most paranormal in the entire world. So first impressions here, we are in the middle of a field. You can just see cactuses and tall grass. The sensation here is kind of eerie. It's pretty quiet, and I'm also kind of getting the feeling that we're being watched. I don't know if it's all the videos that I've been watching on YouTube and all the articles that I've been reading, or it might be that the spirit of La Llorona is here today watching over us as I speak. So as I previously stated, the story of La Llorona is quite possibly one of the most famous stories in all of Mexico. Everybody from every state of the country is going to tell you that the La Llorona originated in their state. They have a version of it in their pueblito, wherever you are. But the thing is, none of them have a monument like this. You may be asking, Rick, why'd you travel thousands of miles to Guanajuato, to the middle of nowhere, to go stand in front of some little structure made of rocks and stones? Well, that's a great question. And there's an even greater answer. Back in this exact area, over 100 years ago, the villagers in this area began to be tormented by a malignant spirit. Now, this wasn't a friendly spirit by any means. This spirit had a specific affinity for children. Now, when these children would find themselves in the fields playing soccer or playing in the dirt as children do, this spirit would wail and it would pretty much terrorize the kids. And you know, the elders in the village decided, yo, we can't tolerate this anymore. This is not acceptable. We absolutely need to do something about this. We need to take care of this problem. So they decided to contact their local priest. So the priest came out here and he said, well, I think this might be a little bit out of my expertise and a bit too much for me to handle. So the priest got in contact with the Vatican. Now here's where the story gets interesting. The Vatican actually sent out 2 priests to this exact area where my feet are standing right now. The Vatican sent out 2 priests. Now these priests decided that they're not going to be able to do anything unless they have some sort of concrete evidence that, you know, the villagers' claims were true. So they decided to spend the night. While they were spending the night, it didn't take long for La Llorona to show herself. One of the priests actually saw her floating in the area. After that, he basically got the evidence he needed, and he decided, well, we definitely need to do something about this. What's so significant about where I'm standing right now is that this exact land area, the Vatican, somewhere deep in their archives, you know, they don't show any of those to the public, the Vatican documented this experience of the first ever land exorcism that ever took place in the entire country of Mexico. So after the priest did the exorcism, he highly recommended that the people of this area construct a monument in order to contain the spirit and all the bad energy that might be in the area. So that's exactly what they did. The people in the area decided, well, that's his recommendation, that's what we're gonna do. They all pitched in, you know, and they were able to collect enough money to construct what you see behind me. Now, whether you believe this story or not, it's up to you. But one thing is true. This monument has been standing here for over 100 years. And I genuinely think that is a testament to something strange that happened here over 100 years ago. Now let's explore this mysterious monument together. Follow me. All right, guys, as you can see right here, these inscriptions are written in Latin. It says, September de 1913, 300 días indulgen gen something venaria. And from the research I've conducted, it is said that the people of this area prayed our fathers over 300 days in order to lock up whatever bad vibes were in this area. That is crazy. All right, so we're gonna come over here. So right here, they have flowers in it, and people quite frequently come and put flowers on here all the time. But right here, it actually used to be a little bowl for holy water. And it was said that if you came out here and you were around these neck of the woods and you saw something, you saw a spirit, something scared you, you would come over here, put your hand in the holy water, here, put your cross in, man, you're good. But obviously, you know, over time, you know, it's dried out, and people have used it for different reasons. People light candles in there as well, okay? All right, so starting from the top, we have one of the original crosses that was engraved into the monument, and it's been here for as long as this monument has been standing. Take a look at it. All right here, it seems as if it looks charred, it looks burnt. For being here for 100 years, this monument is in surprisingly incredible condition. I mean, it looks like it hasn't been here for longer than a good, like, maybe 40, 30 years, man. This place is in incredible condition for a 100-year-old monument. Now, along the back, we don't seem to have anything of incredible significance. On this side, it also looks a bit charred. Right here, as you guys can see, it looks like there's been some sort of fire here as well. But, as I said before, the monument has still remained standing for 100 years. So whatever happened only charred the outside and didn't affect the inside. How interesting. Right here in the middle, dead center, is the cross that looks to be drawn on with Crayola by who knows who. And if you guys can see, on top, right there, there's actually the shoe of a woman. There's a lady's shoe right there. There's a bunch of different engravings right here. Right there I see Dios por mi camino, fe en Dios, Dios mío, agua aquí, Mónica. But yeah, some strange engravings on that side. All right, guys, well, that's going to conclude this video. Comment down below if you guys or your family has had any experiences with La Llorona from whatever part of the world you may be from. And let me know of any myths and legends from your countries. This is the Mythman, signing off.